Holy fuck!
Casino.
That was a smoke show. That was just fireworks. That was one of our first reactions to Baby Keem's sophomore studio album, Casino. Listen, guys, this rollout has been short, it's been quick, it's been to the point, but the biggest question going into this new studio album was it going to be worth the entire wait? Because going back to 2021, Lou the Melodic Blue, his debut album, was celebrated by everyone. Everyone had it in rotations for years at this point, and people wanted new Baby Keem music. So with that being said, if you guys want to check out our first live album reaction to Baby Keem's Casino, click the pinned comment. It'll take you directly to the Patreon plan below. Let's get started on the artist performance. The first category of all of our reviews. What did you think? Was it worth the wait after 4 years of waiting for this new studio album?
What did I think? I think that he sounds like a different person. It's crazy. Like from the Melodic Blue to Casino, it's almost like he had like his second spurt of puberty or something, bro. Literally sounds like a completely different artist. And that was a cool, unexpected sort of feature of this album, is that you're getting this more grown voice from Baby Keem.
Yes, you are.
Which was really interesting. On the artist performance, I mean, the first word that you think of is versatility, bro, when it comes to Keem on this album. And what I like the most is when he thrives off the chaos of the beats and channels that for his performances, like he did on a song like Casino, where you have this eruptive, super energetic performance from him. You hear the heavy breaths in between his flows and his just frequent, seamless flow switches throughout, bro. I love the way that he stretches out his vocals on the second half of that song, sounding way more frantic. Also, his rhythmic timing is perfect on that second half, where you have like the la 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 sample. That those end rhymes hit right before the last sample connects. So really well executed on his end. What did you think of obviously we'll get into House Money and we'll get into Circus.
Yeah.
What did you think of Birds and the Bees? What did you think of Sex Appeal? Some of the songs that kind of
Dramatic
steer away
Girl.
from like the hardcore rapping.
You know what? I was expecting it, because even going into the Melodic Blue, like, you have certain records off of that album that steer away from the trademark USAs or the Vents. Like, he's all over the place with his studio albums and his projects. So I expected that type of diversity. And he's someone that's given us joyful, playful type of R&B / like rap records before. So I guess I could talk about something like the Birds and the Bees. I'm not a big fan of the hook off of that record. I think that it's maybe a bit of a weak point for the track list for me. I mean, it's pretty standard from him. He's kind of harmonizing throughout the entire track, and it's a blend of his rapping / singing, and it's also a lighter production, so I kind of feel like it's standard from what you could expect with Baby Keem. When it comes down to the sex song, I feel like you're seeing Baby Keem attack like this more seductive 2010s, like sort of like Trey Songz Jeremiah type of performance, where he's gliding over like this West Coast bounce. He's getting to it, you know, he's having fun with it. It feels like almost a pop record or a pop attempt for him in that sense. When it comes down to Dramatic Girl, though, is interesting because this almost feels like sort of like MGMT type production. So you have to have the vocals and like sort of that mic presence to be able to attack that sort of stuff. And I kind of like salute him for that type of performance, because I've never heard Baby Keem attack that type of production, and I actually liked it. I like the rhythm, bro. I like the harmonies of it. I think it's a really fun record, and I enjoyed the way that he attacked that song itself.
Cute. Yeah,
it was
cute,
fun.
It was a
but
cute
how about you?
performance
Like,
for
how do
Keem.
you like the deviation from, let's say, the hardcore rap stuff, or even the meditative rap stuff that we'll talk about very soon, when he finds like these types of pockets within the track list?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's like you said, right? He's been known to go into those different bags in the past, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think one thing I noticed is that like his best like pop and R&B cut to me is still 16 off of the Melodic Blue.
Yes.
I feel like there hasn't been that much growth in like the singing bag for him. Not to say that, like, for example, Dramatic Girl, catchy hook, cool performance, it's playful, it's jovial, it's fun. That being said, I feel like there's more of an improvement on the rapping side from Keem on this album than there is in like the melodic bag. But that being said, it depended on the performance. I didn't like him on the Birds and the Bees. I thought he was just okay on Good Flirts. Decent melody, stays within his vocal range, doesn't go too crazy. But that's not really where your attention is headed. Even for Sex Appeal, it's like the beat is kind of doing a lot of the heavy lifting. But talking about some of the other performances on here,
Bro, can we talk about Circus and that last cadence that he attacks, bro? It almost sounds like he's clenching his teeth, bro. He's so aggressive. Like, that was something else that I agree with you with. I agree with you. Hold on, bro. I fucking mispronounced.
agree with you on, yeah,
exactly. Going into the studio album, it was interesting to see the way like he was going to attack so many different voices and cadences. And bro, there's that last voice that you get off of Circus Circus, where he's super aggressive. It sounds like he's clenching his teeth. Like, I've never seen Keem go into that bag.
That's
so,
like that second half
for
of
sure.
Kendrick's Euphoria. That's kind of
Exactly.
where it took me to, delivery-wise, for sure. But yeah, no, that song is fucking insane, bro. I mean, he's rapping like a madman all throughout it. Many original flows and flow switches given at just a moment's notice, bro. And like, this is Keem taking left turns vocally and keeping the song refreshing throughout, bro, because he keeps on taking these left turns. And yeah, I love that gritty delivery at the ending too. Another standout performance. Obviously, I Am Not a Lyricist. That's one of the most talked about tracks.
Sounds like a 3 stacks cadence, bro.
Channels his inner 3 stacks, especially on that last flow where like he's rapping at lightning speed. I'm like, this sounds like what I've heard on some Outkast songs, but also on like Scientists and Engineers by 3 Stacks. But also loved his bridge, bro. Like, you get that classic zany singing from Keem on the bridge of that song. That was really smooth too. And even like just his vocal tone throughout that song draws parallels to a 3 stack.
Could I read you out a crazy number that I wanted to bring into this review? Shout out to Hip Hop by the Numbers. Incredible page. You guys obviously know him for years now. 91 flow switches off of this album, one every 17 seconds, and then 126 pitch switches, one every 13 seconds. It just
crazy.
speaks to how dynamic Keem is throughout this entire record. And bro, he did this with 11 songs.
Yeah,
that's another
it's
thing,
fire.
bro. He attacked this album, and yes, there's a bit of filler on this. I'm not going to say that it's a perfect 11 for 11 record, but just to say, like, there's so much packed in performance-wise into such a condensed track list, and I think that he accomplished, bro, like, that weight and that hunger for, okay, we want to see what Keem's up to, and to me, dude, like, this artist performance is great. I gave it a great rating.
I have it at a great rating, and I think that, you know, what weighs it down, there's also some performances that I like, but that are not really that impressive. For example, a Highway 95 Part 2. I like the song overall. I just wish that Keem gave us more than one melody, which kind of was the constant melody for an entire like 3-minute plus track. Infectious melody, but kind of gets stagnant. I also just loved how he sounded hysterical, bro, on a lot of these performances. Like, sort of like he's overwhelmed with emotion, but he doesn't lose control throughout the performance. Something like a House Money, for example, hitting you at that whiny cadence, sounds like he's rapping like the rent is due. I just love the passion and the effort that he put into the performance. Definitely great.
But you know what's cool too about that type of performance on House Money? I'm not sure if you picked this up, but it almost seems like he's out of breath and like you don't know if he's gonna give it up or not. And he's kind of playing on that brink. But for the entire record, it just builds up great tension, and that was another thing that I liked about this album. But all right, shall we talk about the features, Lou?
Going to the features,
Kendrick Lamar, bro. What a topic of conversation this weekend. Lou, you and I called it in this fucking live album reaction. There's going to be people defending this good Flirts
and
feature.
there were a lot of people defending
but
it.
there was a lot of people that also said it is booty. No pun intended.
That's exactly what I said in the reaction. I said it in the fucking first thoughts. And I'm going to say it again. The Kendrick feature on Good Flirts is booty. And listen, some people were saying, look, it still fits the vibe of the song. No one ever said it didn't fit the vibe of the song. Like, it's a flirty love song. Like, that is the vibe of the song. Again, is that going to excuse Kendrick's performance, which is super monotone and very repetitive lyrically and kind of awkward? Like, I'm sorry, the song is supposed to be like sensual in some sense, and I think that Momo Boyd brought that. She has super smooth vocals. She gives you like that kind of, you know, sensual vibe that you want that song to have.
Course.
But with Kendrick Lamar, I mean, listen, bro, the only like takeaway that I took was that funny line where he rapped, "I gossip with my bitch like I'm Young Thug too." That was pretty funny. Besides that, there's no real other entertainment I'm taking away from
it. It looks like he just had to show up, bro. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've praised Kendrick for a long time. We're huge K-Dot fans. I don't even think I have to fucking explain myself, bro. But at the end of the day, when someone drops a dud on a verse, bro, you have to call it out. And there's no way that this is a good verse.
Crushing on your booty.
The whole booty repetition to me, like, it just came off so awkward, like you said. And then after that, there's like this slight flow switch, bro, towards the end of the verse. And he's completely offbeat for it. And I think, like, it's not the point that Kendrick, whenever he sings, bro, I'm automatically gonna hate it. He's not even fucking singing on this song, bro. It's far from singing, so I don't understand that argument either. I think he sounded extremely awkward for Good Flirts. There was an opportunity for him to absolutely rip apart other verses on other records, and it was honestly disappointing to see that they placed him here on this track list, bro, on this song in particular. There was so many other songs you could have placed him on where it's like, bro, even if you wanted to get him on, like, let's say, I believe it was Sex Appeal. Fuck it, bro. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's not the point.
That would have been the better choice. Like,
the point,
circus, or a verse on House Money.
The point is, I don't give a fuck where you placed him, bro. At the end of the day, this verse is awkward. If I'm allowed to criticize other rappers that I'm a fan of,
for sure,
this is the same treatment, bro.
Well, of course you're allowed. No one's telling you not allowed. I just think that people move the goalposts when it comes to Kendrick and some lackluster writing and this feature just as a whole. I will say I do feel like he is singing on the song. You say like he's not even singing, crushing on your booty, like he's harmonizing, he's singing. But anyways, that being said, did you like Momo Boyd on the song, on the post-chorus? I thought she was nice.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Honestly, they should have probably just given her the entire last section of that record.
I agree.
And it would have came out as a much better song. Honestly, I really liked this song before it gets to that K-Dot verse. Good Flirts would have been a super strong melodic cut for it. I think they placed Kendrick on here just for the sake of placing Kendrick. That's my opinion. Yeah. But speaking about Kendrick,
another a hidden feature on House Money.
This was fire.
He sounds fired up. Speaking about clenching your teeth for delivery, this is what you get, and it's matching that dark beat perfectly. The hook, walking in the party, I don't fear nobody. Kind of nursery rhyme style. It sounds fucking fire. It's electric. Also has a dope post-chorus with the I Smell Something section.
Yeah.
Very similar role to what he did on Vent, where it's another hidden feature. It's a minimal role, but it just injects even more liveliness to the record.
Exactly. This was a well-curated feature, and this is exactly what he had to do. The mission was complete. Do I want to see his verse on this?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. This needed a verse, but at the same time, it's like, fuck it, why not? Like, I got a great performance from him. This was a standout feature for me. But going on to, I believe, Denzel Curry. No, Denzel Curry's ad-libs on this. Did you
you have the ad-libs by Denzel.
Listen, it's not a complete feature. I'm not saying that. Just a little cool Easter egg. Denzel got on Twitter. He spoke about it. And I found that now listening back to it, he would have sounded ridiculous.
Imagine the three of them verses for one verse each.
Man, honestly,
we're missing that. More rappers just sparring on tracks for fun. But anyways, let's talk about Too Short, who has ad-libs during Keem's verse on the song Sex Appeal and then has his own verse. I thought it was fun. I feel like maybe his flow should have matched the faster tempo of that beat.
But it's a Too Short flow.
It's
like
cool,
that's
though.
what I want to tell you. Yeah, if you like Too Shorts and you like that sort of like hypey flow, I mean, this is gonna be for you. It's fun and it's nothing crazy, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Obviously not. Next up though, Shea Ekru is featured on Dramatic Girl. Yeah, man, just love how tender his voice sounds on this. Kind of wanted to hear more from him, to be honest. It was a very minimal feature. That being said, that's it for the features. It was super minimalistic as a component of this album, and I thought that they were cool. Do I feel like any of them really blew me away or were really
Featureless was good.
It was a good feature.
That's
how I have it rated.
I had it rated at that, and honestly, I didn't come into this album for the feature list. I came in for Keem, and I came in also for the content. So let's speak about the content, Lou. So, I mean, we've been using this for the past 4 years of material on Scapegoat. He's gonna talk about what he needs to talk about, and he did that indeed. I feel like, especially going into this album, we spoke about how there was a massive evolution in his voice and the way that he attacked these records sonically when it came to his voice and the cadences, the harmonies and stuff like that.
And the pen, of course.
But the pen, to me, is the biggest show of growth and maturity in this entire track list, bro. There's so many great cuts. Where do you want to start, Lou?
I mean, yeah, we could start on the intro.
No Security.
No Security. I love him rapping about feeling that pressure when he blew up when he was 19 years old to now become a provider for his mother, his grandmother, his family, rapping shit like when I was dying for my bitch, my ma was sleeping in a tent and having to visit her in jail and deciding whether or not to bail her out. Right away, he brings you into that window, into that home in Vegas. And I feel like that's really what the message of this album is all about, is he was shaped by his unfavorable circumstances, by his rough living environment, but it didn't define him, bro, in the end. it didn't define him. He decided to bet on himself, lock the fuck in, and kind of break these generational curses that were kind of surrounding his family, as he was surrounded by people that, you know, sometimes were abusers, had certain addictions. Like, he's sort of turning a new leaf. And to me, it's a message of resilience, bro, where it's like, yo, if I could break out of the projects the way that I did, so can you. And he says that on I Am Not a Lyricist, where it's like, you know, this is for the runaways, this is for the foster children. So I really like that message of hope that this leaves you with.
Of course.
The whole tie into the casino.
Well, the whole casino metaphor is extremely prominent because I feel like Keem is saying that his entire career in life has been a gamble up to this point. You know, leading all the way back to his birth, and how, like, you know, his mom was on Xanax. Like, well, you know, she had him in her stomach. Like,
I think that was for his brother, but yeah.
So regardless, but I just think, like, looking at this album and the writing, there's so many metaphors of gambling and, of course, like, people being in these addictive lanes, but at the same time, like, there's always that glimpse of hope, and Baby Keem, of course, makes it out. And going on to No Security, like, I also feel like Keem is explaining, like, all of the downfalls and the, you know, trials and tribulations of his childhood, but he also feels like a sense of responsibility for his family, right?
Yeah.
Like, for example, put a pause on the lifestyle. I grew up in change lanes. Uncle Andre just passed. I can't help but bear the blame. Wish I got him help when the resources came. So it's interesting because he's also looking on his family members and being like, maybe I could have done more when I had gotten the resources from the big jumps that I had made.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a beautiful message throughout this entire album, but that's not the only thing you're getting. Of course, you're getting the braggadocious bars about his women, about his cars, about, you know, him being a rap megastar. Of course, you know, the phones and him. And you got, like, what you expect from a Baby Keem album, right?
And that being said, I feel like he does a great job of, like, mixing in those messages of him being turned and bragging about his lifestyle while also expressing his pain and grief. Like, it never feels like these tracks lack focus, even if they are sporadic in their messaging, because that's just Keem in a nutshell, bro. Like, he is just someone who is volatile, who goes left, goes right. So it all works out in its own organized, chaotic way. That being said, I want to talk about a song like I'm Not a Lyricist, where he decides to contradict himself and be a lyricist, giving us a memento of his upbringing, rapid fire, spitting about just different events that have stuck with him throughout his life, like his uncle serving his mother, his grandma giving him a keyboard when he was 12 years old, and, you know, the influence that had on his life. Connie getting out of a group home when he was 6, and then on verse 2, he's kind of reminiscing over everything that he had to endure in Sin City. His most lyrical and dense song to date for me. And he's right when he says, like, I'm not playing with words. Everything is very literal.
And it's very straightforward.
Very literal, very straightforward. It's like, there's no metaphors. I'm telling you how it is as it went down, you know?
Yeah, and I also I like Highway 95 Part 2 because this is the sequel to the deluxe song that you had gotten off of the Melodic Blue called Highway 95, and you see a younger Baby Keem in this scenario of him being younger and him sort of going down, up and down the highway on the East Coast, obviously Highway 95, if you guys are not familiar with it. It's a big highway on the East Coast, and him talking about all the types of different things that he's going through and how there's almost no hope for him. Like, going on to verse 2, he starts off the verse by saying, running out of wishes, God doesn't listen, broken home, paper plates in the kitchen. And it gives you more context on the type of environment that he grew up in, and it makes you feel like, okay, Keem went through some shit, and now, like, he's giving it to you all on a record, and he wants to make you understand exactly what he's gone through. So whether it's songs like Highway 95 Part 2 or I'm Not a Lyricist, these are full, like, contextual records for what Keem has gone through, and it provides you more character development for Baby Keem, right? Like, going on to the Melodic Blue was very playful, it was fun. You know, you had a lot of, like, sexual lyrics, obviously, a lot of gloating, and like we said at the beginning of this category, the biggest growth and evolution for Keem comes on the writing, bro. Guys, I want to take a moment from this episode to speak about our sponsors at Game Time. Listen, this year is absolutely stacked. We got Don Toliver going on tour. We have A$AP Rocky, J. Cole, Baby Keem. It's absolutely hot right now in 2026. And when purchasing these tickets, you guys have to use Game Time, especially when it comes down to their services and features that they offer on the application. First things first, looking at the fees and the way that they portray them, Lou, has this ever happened to you? You look at a certain application or you're on a website, ticket is maybe $100 right at first glance. All right, I'm going to buy it.
Now you go to checkout.
It's $2,000 for the ticket because I owe this person money. I owe this service, this fee. No, the price that you see on the website is the price that you get, especially at checkout. Not only that, crazy new feature called Zone Deals. If you want to look for a certain section at the arena and you let Game Time choose the seats for you, you'll save even more when you guys go to your checkout.
Guys, the hype is at an all-time high to catch some of these artists live, and of course to catch any sporting event that you want. So make sure to get your tickets before they do sell out. It's very simple. All you have to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code NFR for $20 off your first purchase. Much love to Game Time. Let's now get back onto the video.
And he promised what he promised on Scapegoats. You got the origin story on this next studio album, and I think he did a great job of that.
And what I like, too, is the fact that I can't think of the exact song where he does it, but it's on 2 different songs. Like, he is giving you reasoning as to why he stepped away for so long. And he did that in the live stream that he put out for the album, too, where he's saying, like, yo, like, I'm on stage putting on a smile, performing at Coachella, and like, yo, like minutes later, I'm getting a call that my mom just got out of rehab. Like, I'm dealing with the loss of my grandmother who passed away in the house that I bought her. Like, I'm dealing with real life shit every single day. So I didn't run away. I'm not trying to be elusive. Like, I'm just coping, bro. And like, if that means me having to step away and focus on my personal life, then that's what's going to be the priority. So I respect that he kind of addressed that.
I think it was on No Blame, actually, because I have the lyrics in front of me.
Yeah.
How could I blame you, mama? I ran from you that day. I'm not numb to those encounters. I've seen you in the worst way when the police say they found you. So you kind of feel that throughout the record where there's almost this guilt, bro, for like trying to live his best life and trying to become the artist that he's always wanted to be.
While also taking care of his family. Also on Circus Freestyle, he raps, I almost died when I took the vaccine. I was gone for 2 years, down bad, reflecting. So again, giving more insight on the crazy shit that went down in his life and why he had to take time for himself. It's like, he even, again, I don't remember which song it is exactly, but he's like, yo, I was in the booth, while my grandmother was dying. Like, I could have spent more time with her. So I feel like it's almost a constant loop of like feeling guilty for not being there for his family, but also wanting to turn up and make something out of himself for his family. So it's kind of cool, like just the dichotomy between his relationship with his work and family. But Circus Freestyle, I love that song because for how energetic the performance is, you're getting so much substance. Even him rapping about how he doesn't know his siblings on his father's side, bro, or him being evicted from the childhood home in Vegas, or his uncle selling his Xbox to buy some crack. Like, it's just it's really impressive to see how much he was able to capture of his own life here. And then let's talk about No Blame, the outro, bro, because I think when it comes to the story he's telling, that's an essential fucking part of this too.
Oh, it's beautiful, bro. This is a song that I knew was going to be one of my favorites right after the album. And, speaking about that dichotomy throughout the album, I think it really comes like at full moment here because you have Keem like really telling his mom, like, as much as I've kind of like, not like giving you shit, but rapped about all the trials and tribulations and all the downfalls and pitfalls I've been through with you and my family circumstances and me growing up in Vegas. Like, I genuinely don't blame you for those things, and I still love you as a mother. And I think that type of acceptance and love is incredible, bro, to like put out on a record. Like, to be able to be that mature and to be able to show that side of you after everything that you've spoken about in this album, you ended it off with No Blame. I think it's a beautiful first Soaker moment for Keem when it comes to the writing of this album.
100%, man. And I think that it's just it's Keem, telling us like, yo, like, I couldn't give you the story back on the Melodic Blue because I wasn't mature enough yet. Like, now I've been able to contextualize my upbringing and everything that's shaped me to be who I am. And now I found closure with my mother, and I've found closure with the way that I was brought up, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Like, there's almost a sense of like, this was inevitable for me to get to the point that I got to. That's
Yeah,
kind of what it feels
and Baby
like.
Keem is also 25, right? And when he released the melodic Blue, he was in his early 20s. And speaking about that maturity and growth, like think about being in your early 20s with that much like success and hype, bro, and
Hmm.
everyone's looking at you as the predecessor to Kendrick Lamar, and you're attached now to this huge label, PG Lang. I think that comes with a lot of pressure. And I feel like Keem in this instance is also saying like I was not ready to give you that story like you said, but at the same time, like now he's 25, and I feel like a lot of people go through that in their life, right? When you
Hmm.
hit your mid 20s and you really contextualize everything and the distractions are out and you really look at what you have in front of you, you have two routes you could go by. You could be bitter and sour and you could continue to harp on this shit, or you take the Baby Keem route and there's no blame. Everything's all good. I'm supposed to be where I'm at and I'm happy to be here. And I think that's what I got out of the message of this album is I'm genuinely happy to be here despite everything I've been through,
Hmm.
and let's continue fucking doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, my rating for the content, I think it's great, bro. I think that there obviously are songs where they're just empty, and I do wish that maybe that narrative focus would have carried out song after song after song in a more just thematic way. But that being said, still great.
It is. I gave it a great rating as well because you have your good flirts verses. You
Yeah.
do have your sex appeals on this. Dramatic Girl is fun. Like it's a love story and it's very playful and joyful, but it's not like the greatest rating in the world,
No,
And I
obviously
don't think
not.
it's meant to be that for the
No.
records that they are. So great rating is more than fair. But Lou, production time.
Oh,
What
yeah.
a fucking soundscape this
And
is,
what a
bro.
roster, man. You have Baby Keem himself, who really took the driver's seat on the production. You have Cardo got wings. You got FNZ, Scott Bridgeway on the drums, Jahan Sweet, OG Volta, Soundwave is producing on this album. You really got an all-star cast. And yeah, we just have a lot of hard-hitting, aggressive, trap-flavored beats. But honestly, it's a pretty eclectic soundscape in the sense of like when you look at all the samples, you're pulling from genres like punk, like soul, like R&B. There's different moods, there's different colors, different sounds on this album. And I really enjoyed the motif of like there being a vocal sample used on every single track on here, and how they were just spun in creative ways time and time again. That's something that I really appreciated.
I love all of the beat switches. This is something
Yeah.
that I wanted to get off of this album after getting songs like Family Ties and songs like Trademark USA off of the Melodic Blue. It's like, okay, what else could we do? Because for all those flow switches that you get off of the album and the statistic that I read from Hip Hop by the Numbers, the beat switches, they follow suit with all of these types of different cadences. Like, for example, going back to Circus Freestyle, all the loops and turns that you take within this production, bro, it gets fucking gross. And there's even more subtle ones. So, for example, you go on to Casino, right? And people don't even notice that it's a beat switch, but the way that the loop like starts off, it sounds like this super triumphant, like video game esque, like sample and loop that's going on and back, but then like it slowly gets warped as the production continues to go on, and now you're getting a completely different set of drums to go on with that loop. So there's so many different twists and turns in the production, and I love it. Then you're also getting like these Bay Area drums on something like Sex Appeal. I thought that if this was maybe given to like a Ty Dolla Sign, maybe that would have been a better record in my opinion, but nonetheless, I really like the production on
Still,
this.
yeah, it's still a cool song. The beat was fucking fire, though. I love the production on Sex Appeal. The beat on Casino is fucking bonkers to me. You have that stuttering lead synth, some bombastic 808s and trap drums, and just this crazy distortion that makes it sort of a hybrid of like a trap and rage beat. Beat switch is really fire on this. You get a more grounded second beat. With the pitched up choir of kids harmonizing. Well, it sounds like kids, but really it's the Ramones, Blitzkrieg Bop, that was sampled there. That was really fire. Another massive highlight, my favorite beat on the album, comes on House Money, bro.
Wow.
And I love how we
the
start
trumpets, bro, on this.
that sweet
fucking
vocal
massive.
sample. Then you get the haunting operatic vocal sample enter the mix. The 808s, the snares just grab hold of the instrumental, and then of course the Denzel Curry ad libs just accentuate that hype feeling. I just love how sinister and dark it is, but also hard hitting. This is like the prototype of what you want like a Baby Keem instrumental to be like.
For sure.
What
And
about you? Favorite beat?
Favorite beat, bro, it has to be a three-way tie between Casino, House Money, and
Yeah.
Circus
Yeah,
Circus.
absolutely.
But I also love the softer beats off of this album. Like I'm Not a Lyricist. This was produced by Baby Keem, Jahan Sweet, and Rascal, where you're getting these boom bap drums, and now you're getting these beautiful keys sprinkled throughout. So even when, Keem had to go into more of like an introspective bag, the production followed suit on those records as well,
Yeah.
where the tempo slows down and it sounds like you're just walking through the streets with Baby Keem and he's talking to you with this beautiful backdrop, bro. The piano keys on I Am Not a Lyricist are gorgeous, bro. I really like this beat too.
Yeah, great beat. Another highlight that maybe is slept on as a production, No Blame. Love the pulsating kick drums that started off, kind of is the heartbeat to the instrumental. The use of the James Blake vocal sample is perfection.
Insane.
Also, you get that dope electric guitar lick towards the end of the song. Like, just that's why I appreciate Keem's vision as a producer. Is it's not just a loop that's on repeat for 2 minutes. Like, there's progression, there's layers. He understands like musical timing really well, and that shows on a song like that. But let's talk about that Circus beat that we both love. Did that remind you of that carnival choir? That's the vibe that I got. I'm like, it sounds almost like a sports team, like in the choir here.
It was just
grandiose.
It was so grandiose, and of course, it's a two-parter, so you're getting two different layers and dimensions to this. But like you said, you have these backing vocals that add such a depth to the song, and you're automatically engaged. And for the flows and the speed at which Keem is rapping at, and how aggressive he is, it's like that mixed in with those choir vocals, which it sounds like. I'm not sure exactly whose vocals they are.
And then those blazing sampled horns. Oh my goodness,
bro. Like these are the horns I was talking about. When you get these horns, it's automatic, bro. Like the way that this beat sounds in the car is so fucking disgusting. This is a song that doesn't do justice in your AirPods. It doesn't do justice in these headphones that we listened to them on when it came to Friday morning when the album dropped. This is a whip song, but you have to try this out on your car speakers. It's going to go fucking crazy.
Also, one more beat I wanted to shout out on my end. The intro vocal sample on Dramatic Girl sounds like a fucking beautiful dream, bro.
By the way, did you pick up on this? There was beach noise production actually on this song.
I did, yeah.
Was it a sample or was it actually?
I'm pretty sure it's a sample. But yeah, just big summer vibes on that song. Really sweet instrumental. That was a big highlight for me.
I love the chords on this, bro. Just those guitar strings that are all the way throughout. Beautiful song if you guys are like in California, Florida, just like a sunny state.
Oh, yeah.
If you're riding through the whip, you're having barbecues, something super playful for the track list. This is another standout for me. So when I look at it, Lou, honestly, bro, I gave it an amazing rating.
So did I. I think we're on
rating.
par on every rating so far in this album.
I had to give it an amazing rating, bro. Like I don't think you're going to get another soundscape like this if unless Baby Keem decides to drop another album in 2026. So the production did not disappoint.
Best part of the album.
But let's go on to the replay value, Lou. So what is this, 36 minutes?
This is, yeah.
Like 36?
36, 11 songs. It was supposed to be 12 songs, but the track 2B ended up being left off the track list.
It's probably going to be a deluxe thing.
Yeah, it's on the physical, so maybe it's on the deluxe, maybe it isn't. I heard the song through that snippet that Soundwave played. It was cool. It would have been
nice.
Another song that wouldn't have really followed like the narrative of the album, so I'm not too mad that it's left off. That being said, my first takeaway with this album when it comes to the replay value, I'm just fucking ecstatic that we got a mainstream rap album that has 11 songs on it, bro. I feel like we have to normalize the idea of less is more and how rewarding it is to put out a concise album for the fans like you and I and a lot of people watching that really value the album experience. This is a win for us, bro.
It is a huge win for us because he could have easily dropped a 25-song album, bro, with a bunch of filler and like everyone would have still shown up to the album experience and they know that it probably would have streamed better, but I said this in the live album reaction. I still stand on this opinion now going into the review. The fact that Baby Keem took the route of waiting 4 years to drop an album and he only provides you with this much material means that he really believed in the music that he's giving you. There was no gimmicks of, okay, let me drop this through a burner account on X and let me see how people receive it. Or, I'm teasing the album now and now the reception for the songs that are being previewed this week. Okay, I'm going to hold on to it. No, like, he went through this process to drop this album, and for the most part, bro, there's some of the greatest ever songs he's ever released in his catalog on this album. So, with that being said, there still are skips for me.
Yeah, there's skips.
There's skips on this album.
Or not only skips, but also songs where it's like, I could listen to them, but I'm not going to go crazy over them.
No, absolutely
You know what I mean?
not.
And I think that would also takes a couple points off of the replay value for me is that, again, it's like you could look at some of these songs and be like, well, they didn't need to be on the track list.
No. But okay, shall we start with our keeps, Lou?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen, I'll just
Give you what you're not.
I'll just share I could share you my highs or my lows. Like, it's up to you.
I don't know, whatever you want, dude.
Yeah, my highest highs, I have, I want to say 5 songs on here: Casino, House Money, I Am Not a Lyricist, Circus Freestyle, and No Blame. If I had to choose 5, those are my 5.
Yeah, those same 5 as well. For me, when I go on to the highs, I'm also keeping No Security.
Yeah, for sure.
And then
very strong song.
I really like Highway 95 Part 2.
That's cool.
I know you're not a big fan of like the constant like flow that he's using throughout the
Still
record.
a good song though.
I really like it. I'm keeping that. When it comes to the songs that I'm also keeping, Dramatic Girl. I've been bumping that.
I like Dramatic Girl. It's cool.
I've been bumping that heavy as well, so I'm keeping that. When it comes to the shit that I'm not keeping, Sex Appeal, I mean, it's all right as a record. I'm not revisiting that. I'm not revisiting Good Flirts, and I'm not revisiting Birds and the Bees.
Great rating for me.
Yeah, I gave it a great rating as well. Could have been perfect. It could have, but at the end of the day, like, who gives a fuck?
It is what
like,
it is.
There's so much going on with this
even
album.
though those tracks aren't the strongest, they do add to like him just showing off his talents and his versatility. But yeah, they
and
could
this
have
is gonna go
executed
ridiculous, bro, when it comes to the live settings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we gotta catch that. We gotta really catch that Keem concert, bro.
Yeah,
when he's in
man.
town, it's gonna be absolutely disgusting.
Yeah. All right. So overall thoughts. I mean, listen, is this album a masterpiece? No. Is it a strong follow up to the Melodic Blue?
Yeah.
Fuck yes, it is. And sometimes artists take years off, and like you wonder, what did they learn? You know, how did they improve? And with this album, you're really seeing Keem's evolution as a writer, a rapper, a curator. And I think that as it stands right now, I think this is his best album. I think he did outdo himself with the Melodic Blue. Again, I think this album could have been a notch higher to amazing if he did really double down on the intention and make the full scope of the track list really revolve around the story he was trying to tell. That was one of those things where I'm
crazy.
like,
You think it's better than the Melodic Blue
I think off first week I have it over the Melodic Blue. Absolutely. Great origin story. Maybe the closest that we'll get to Keem if you want to make a comparison to Good Kid, Mad City, which is nowhere near the level of that. Nowhere near. But again, it was sort of like his origin story where he's trying to capture the chaos and the darkness of the city that he lived in. And yeah, man, I like how everything hits you on impact. You know, everything's direct here. Amazing performance. Well, not amazing, but great performance. Love the flow switches. And I just love the commitment and effort that he put in to the project as a whole, bro. Like, he really tried to make the best album that he could, and that was really shown to me as a fan. So.
I completely agree with all of your points, and waiting the amount of time I did for this studio album, I feel satisfied as a listener to be able to get his origin story and plus, right? Because he also gave you context on the massive weight for this new album. I also feel like some artists have actually most artists, I will say this, have a difficult time like reinventing themselves every single time they come out and pop their head out for a new album.
Yeah.
And you saw it with a lot of new gen rappers that came out at the same time as Keem, right? Whether it was a Roddy Ricch, bro, or whether it was a Jack Harlow, or like the people that really came up at the time that he did. And I feel like in comparison to all the types of different rappers that he was sort of categorized and grouped with, he's the only one, bro, that consistently has improved, bro, over the years. He doubled down on his quality on this album. He didn't need to make a bloated track list just for the streams. This was intentional, and he wanted to give you everything he promised he would give you off of the studio album, and it was accomplished that way. I also like that this album feels like, okay, this is Baby Keem's, bro. This doesn't have like too much Kendrick Lamar attachment, right? And this is, I think, the first time in his career now where it's, okay, we're on a solo tour now. We're not doing the K-Dot stuff. Yeah. I have records to perform for myself. As much as like the two features...
That's it. It's on par with Melodic Blue. You got like a couple features there, you got like, a couple features here.
But he came out like with the lead single with K-Dot, bro. Like there was features that year. You know what I'm trying to say?
Less of a lean-in, for sure.
Exactly. Like this feels like a Baby Keem moment, and it feels like a coming of age for him where he's mature, he's a full artist, and he gave us Casino. So with that being said, I have a great rating, but this is a great fucking album.
Yeah, we were on par with every score, which is kind of rare. But yeah, I just think that Keem remains one of the most ambitious and exciting young rappers to watch, bro. Like, I really think that he's one of the best that we have for his age group. And just that balance of lightheartedness and introspection, you're not going to find that with many other artists in his class. So I'm excited for the future. That's kind of where this leads me. Is like I'm enjoying the music right now, and I don't think the next wait will be a 5-year wait. So I'm hyped to see what he does in maybe a year, 2 years
And
from
honestly,
now.
this was sort of, I would say, a sigh of relief for me because if think about it, right? Someone that we looked at as a leader of this generation, Baby Keem, if he would have came out and just dropped like maybe a lateral album or something that was a bit more subpar to the melodic blue, the fact that now you have a track list that even you're harsh with these types of claims.
Yeah.
That's probably above the melodic blue when it comes to writing. Like this gives me excitement and hope for the genre, bro. Like this is what these types of artists need to do. They're leaders of their generation. They're the ones that are going to make the groundwork for the next years to come. Why not have this type of artist do what he's doing right now? It's fucking incredible to see. So guys, with that being said, that's our review. Let us know, where did we get it right, where did we get it wrong, and just a reminder, in the pinned comment, there's going to be a link to our live album reaction. So we appreciate everyone for coming in today. Thank you so much for watching this, and we'll catch you on the next review. Peace.